Okay, here are your instructions for your Overboard Lab that you're going to be working on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Here is the main document that explains, what's going on and possible formulas for your substances. All right, so I'm going to go through all of this and explain it to you. We are still going to do it in a lab format. So on Wednesday, that's the first day that anything is due, and I have another page attached to your Google Classroom where you will need to do the pre-lab. Okay, make sure you do it in the format. So introduction, purpose problem, all that. Looks like this actually, so I have it right here. Whenever you open this in your Google Classroom, it's going to look like this, except the video is going to be posted here. You'll need to write your purpose problem, your introduction. Materials will be very short. I mean, all you're getting is a compound analysis piece of paper. So you can list one material, okay? Procedure will also be very short. You're going to write your own procedure, but just basically write the procedure for finding an empirical formula. Okay, everybody's may be a little different, but just write your own procedure. If you have 4 to 5 steps, that's probably plenty. It will not be lengthy. All right, so on Wednesday, you're just going to do all that's due on Wednesday is your pre-lab. All right, so back to this main document to go over everything. Here's the scene of the crime. You're going to be a chemist. You get data of the percent composition. So that was what we was doing before I left. We were doing empirical formulas. He was retrieved from the ocean, and after he was murdered, well, they don't know if he was murdered. You're going to determine that yourself. Okay, everybody's going to have different formulas. So some are going to come to the conclusion that he was murdered and some will not. It just depends on what was in his stomach, because everybody has different compounds. Okay, and I will assign you yours on the day that you complete this. Okay. Let's see. So day one, all you're doing is the pre-lab. So just read over this. Obviously, your purpose is to decide if he was murdered or not by using the empirical formula to figure out which one of these was in his stomach. Now, let me clarify. This table here, this is what you're going to use once you find this right here. See, you're going to take your percent composition. Let me show you what yours may look like. This is what you're going to get, but you're only going to get one. So let's just say you got compound A, and one of you will, okay? If you get compound A, this is carbon, this is hydrogen, this is nitrogen, and this is oxygen. Okay, these are your percent composition. So for substance 1, unknown substance 1, you would start your empirical formula with 67.31 of carbon, convert it to moles. Okay, that's your mass, that's your grams. You'd start with 6.98 grams of hydrogen, 4.62 grams of nitrogen, and 21.10 grams of oxygen. You would convert, there's 4. You would convert each of them to moles, divide by the smallest, and then find a whole number or a multiplier for a whole number, whichever you need to do. Once you get your empirical formula, C, H, N, and O, you then come back and compare it to these to see which one it is. So let's say you did compound A and you got C8803. I do not know if that's the one. This is purely an example, okay? And so you determined that substance 1 in his stomach was vanilla. That was your first substance. So basically this table is just for you to compare your formula to and see what was in his stomach. You're going to have 3 different things. So back to this, you can see you've got 3 different substances that you'll need to do that for. If there's a line like this, that means that there is no nitrogen in it, okay? It only has CH and O, all right? My best advice is to go out a lot of decimal places. Some of these don't come out quite as nice and neat as the ones you've done. If you have questions about them, like I said, I can answer your questions and help you on Zoom that day. But just make sure you're going out lots of decimal places. So the day you actually calculate these is not until Thursday. So I will have this all written down on Google Classroom, but on Wednesday, you're just going to do your pre-lab. On Thursday, I will want you to actually do these calculations, and you will need to show me all of your work. So whether you write it down with a pencil and take a picture of it and email it to me, or if you prefer to type it, however you want to do it, I've got to see the work involved in finding the identity of these 3 substances. So make sure you do that. That's your assignment for Thursday. And then on Friday, you're going to go back to this, and you're going to do this last part, okay? You're going to identify the substance in the stomach. That's actually Thursday's assignment, okay? Then you're going to write a CSI lab report stating the suspected cause of death, substantiate your conclusion based on your analysis of the data. That is going to be Friday's assignment, is you writing basically your findings. So it's your discussion is what it is, okay? You can type it. We don't usually type this stuff, but you can type it. Make sure you're using third person. But you're going to suspected cause of death, substantiate your conclusion, suggest sources of error, conclude with a paragraph that discusses the differences between empirical molecular formulas. And also, I want you to give me a scenario, like from beginning to end. What happened to this man? Everybody's is going to be different because you have different substances in his stomach. Everybody's got different ones. So everybody's story should be different because something different happened to him. But you tell me, based on your findings, what do you think happened to this 22-year-old male victim? What caused him to die from beginning to end, like a detailed story. And that's basically your opinion. That's what's going to be due on Friday. So you can be thinking about that. Okay. Since I've kind of went over everything for the whole week in this one video, I'll only post this one video. But if you need any help, you can hop on Zoom and ask about finding the empirical formulas, and I will post instructions for each day on Google Classroom. So have fun.